Hello everybody, let's keep away this topic for now, let's keep away the sports genre for now and let's focus what exactly is planning. Whenever you do something without a plan, whenever you conduct some event without a plan, last moment problem appears, right? And the official or players is again taken control by whom? Transportation company. Now, your head might have wobbled a little bit. All the sports enthusiasts might have thought for a bit, what exactly is he talking about? That is how a knockout tournament takes place, and that is how a knockout tournament carries out. Hello everybody, my name is Rohit. I take physical education on behalf of Prep School by Vidhyaashram. In today's session, we will be studying about planning in sports. Now this chapter will be a tri-series session where we will be dividing the chapter into three different sections and studying each of the topics under that. So starting off with the first session, let's have a quick look at what all things we have under that as subtopics. First, we have the meaning and objectives of planning. After that, we have various committees that are responsible for conducting a sports event, and finally we will study about different tournaments. So let's start off with our first topic. First, that is the meaning of planning. What exactly is planning? What do you mean by planning? Let's talk it as a layman. Let's keep away this topic for now. Let's keep away the sports genre for now and let's focus what exactly is planning. Whenever you go out, you plan, right? Whenever you have a party, you plan. Whenever you have a plan to hike or go for trekking, you have a plan. So anything that you want to do, you need to have a proper plan. That's a simple meaning of planning, okay? In the same sense, even in sports, to conduct an event, to again have an event or to take participation in an event or to conduct a sports event or tournament, a proper planning and a proper strategy is required. That exactly is planning. So what exactly is planning? Planning is the process to develop a strategy to achieve a goal. In formal terms, in simpler terms, how do we define or how do we say planning? Planning is what? It is a process. It is a process to develop a strategy to achieve a goal. Again, what is it? It's a process to develop, a process that you develop to achieve a goal is again called as your planning. Moving on to next, we have that is objectives of planning. So what all objectives of planning do we have? Now we discussed about planning, what planning is, right? Now why do we plan? That also is necessary to be understood. Why do we exactly plan before doing anything? The first thing is to reduce unnecessary pressure of immediacy. Okay, so basically whenever you do something without a plan, whenever you conduct some event without a plan, last moment problems appears, right? Sometimes this may not happen in time, that may not happen in time. To avoid any kind of problems at the last moment, at the last second of the event, we try to plan and strategize everything prior to the actual time of the occurrence of the event, or in this case the sports tournament or sports event. Second one is to maintain a good control over all activities. When you plan, you schedule everything. Every event, every sub event or every sub activity in the event is sequentially ordered. That means everything is choreographed, everything is well timed, and you have arranged everything. That way you know what time what activity is going to happen in a particular event. That way you can have a control over the time sequence of a particular event and the whole event itself. After that, to facilitate a proper coordination between the event managers, the coordination between the players. Now when you talk about sports event, the coordination between the viewers, that is the audience, and the players and other people also, it is required to have again planning. This way the coordination between everybody and the events will be proper. The next objective is to reduce the chances of mistakes. Now when everything is planned, when nothing is a surprise, right? When the event that you conduct is everything well planned, is well strategized, the chances of mistakes are very less. The chances that you conduct that you may have any kind of mistake is very less. That way your event will be perfectly conducted and you will be well appreciated for the management of that. So next, to increase the efficiency. The efficiency by which you conduct the event also will be more better if you again have a proper planning. So that's one of the objectives of planning. Next, we have to enhance the creativity. Again, when you spend time with a plan, when you spend time with a particular plan or strategize, you get enough time to have a creative opinions and creative things to do with the event. So last moment urgency, like we discussed over here, to reduce unnecessary pressure of immediacy. So what exactly is that problem? Like I said, what exactly is that problem? Before any event, last moment if you do something, right? Last moment if you plan something, you won't suddenly get a creative idea to do something or to transition between two different activities in an event, right? But when you are planning properly, when you are strategizing properly, what happens? You get enough time to process, enough time to think about different ideas and again implement that in your particular event, whatever you are conducting. In this instance, again, we are talking about sports tournament or anything that is related to physical education or any activity in that case. Okay, then finally, to enhance sports performance. To what? To enhance your sports performance, also planning is necessary and required. So when you basically plan a sports event, you inform the players, you let the players know that okay, next month we are going to have a tournament. Even the performance by the player will be improved by that time because they will keep themselves prepared. They will keep themselves trained for that coming particular event. That way the performance also will be enhanced if the planning is all good. Now when I'm talking from the perspective of event management, that is sports conducting, right, from the perspective of officials. But if we talk about from the perspective of players also, when you're planning for a, again, if you have a match next day, if you have any kind of tournament next day, the same principles and the same objective applies for them. All these objectives are not just applicable to physical education or sports, it is universal. Now let's move on to our next topic, that is again various planning committees that are responsible in a sports event or any kind of event. Okay, what is the first one? Publicity committee. Publicity committee, the word itself in that hides the meaning of that. What is the responsibility of publicity committee? Publicity committees publicizes about the event, whatever sports event you are going to conduct, whatever sports event you are going to carry out, about the information about that, the exposure to that event is again handled by publicity committee, marketing or advertising committee. Okay, basically again exposing the event to the outer world, to the outer target audience. The publicity committee is responsible for that particular department of event. Next, we have transportation committee. Now transportation committee is responsible for various transportation purposes in the whole event. Okay, so transportation committee is responsible for various transportation services in the event. For example, transportation for the audience, transportation for the players, or transportation for various VIPs, guests and the officials or players is again taken control by whom? Transportation committee. Moving on to next, we have boarding and lodging committee. Now need not explain, like I said, all these committees, the naming of them have been given by the proper logical name that has to be given according to their work. Boarding and lodging committee is responsible for boarding and lodging of again various officials that are involved in that particular tournament and various players and again umpires or commentators and officials or guests who are involved in that particular event. Their lodging and boarding is handled by boarding and lodging committee. Moving on to next, at fourth we have decoration and ceremony committee, right? We have opening ceremony, closing ceremony, right? We have studied this in 11th standard. Do you remember the chapter Olympic movement? In the Olympic movement, we studied about opening ceremony of Olympics and closing ceremony of Olympics. In that you might have also studied about the various events, various glamorous events that takes place during the opening and closing ceremony as a cultural festival. It looks like a cultural festival. Like that, for every major tournaments, there will be an opening ceremony or an opening function that will be particularly handled by decoration and ceremony committee. I hope you understood this. Next, we have grounds and equipment committee. What is next? Grounds and equipment committee. So whatever equipment is required in the sports, off field or on field. Off field again in the in the again changing rooms, or again in the stadium, again in the gallery, wherever the players of the team, rest of the members who are not on the field playing related to the team are sitting, there what all equipments are required, there what all refreshments are required, there what all other equipments and things are required, any kind of systems that are required, or all handled by whom? It is handled by grounds and equipment committee. Or when the rain comes, right, they have to cover up the field so that it doesn't get moist. All those things are covered and handled by grounds and equipment committee. Next, we have committee for refreshment and entertainment, right? You may have seen many mascots in different games, right? They come and they perform in between the crowd, they cheer the crowd, many refreshments are given in between the crowd, in between the match, to the audience, to the VIPs, to the guests, and to the people who are sitting again in the dressing room, or again sitting in the gallery. All those things are handled by committee for refreshment and entertainment. It is handled by whom? It is handled by committee for refreshment and entertainment. After that, we have a reception committee. Now, reception committee is again responsible for, again, when the players arrive at hotels, when players arrive at different kind of residential areas or wherever they stay, the reception committee is responsible for receiving the guest. In case when you talk about here in this instance, the guests are the players or the foreign country officials or whomever dignitaries we are talking about. All of them will be in the VIP list. They will be received and given hospitality by reception committee. So reception committee majorly takes care of the VIP and the receiving of them and the proper hospitality of them. After that, we have committee for what? Entries and programs. For different kind of entries and different kind of programs that goes on. For that, you need to reserve yourself, reserve a seat, get a token, get a ticket. All that also is handled by, again, committee for entries and programs. After that, you have committees for officials. Now, committees for officials is again board of officials. You may have the director of the tournament. You may have again the coach of many teams. You may have captains of many teams, and the official will include the umpires. Again, you have commentators and lot of sports analysts, and again different kind of coaches and senior players in the team. So the board of officials, or for here instance committee of official, is again dealing with all those kind of people, all those kind of important people who are the part of the tournament. Next, we have announcement committee. Announcement committee is responsible for announcement of different things or different events that is taking place, or any kind of changes that happened in the tournament. You might have seen when cricket happens, right? When cricket tournament takes place, when suddenly rain comes or anything comes, it is displayed on your TV monitor. Match is delayed due to raining. Like that, at the live event, during the live session also, on the mic, it is announced, the same thing is announced on the loudspeaker, that the match may be delayed due to rain or bad weather. That is again handled by, those kind of important announcements are handled by announcement committee of the tournament. After that, you have first aid committee. Again, like when we discussed about different kind of sports physical education opportunities in 11th standard, right? Remember, career, different kind of careers you can have in physical education. We studied this in 11th standard, first chapter, if you remember. There we studied about sports medicine, right? It's a specialization. It's a specialization in medicine field, that is sports medicine, where the doctor specializes in different kind of injuries and its treatment related to the accidents and incidents that happens on the field. So again, first aid committee will have a lot of medical professionals, including doctor, nurses, and various first aid professionals. Okay. After that, we have finance committee. Now, finance committee is finally handling all the cash related, all the economy related, or all the finance related things in the tournament. Wherever money is being invested, wherever profit is being made, wherever money is being exchanged in the tournament, all of the accounts, all of the handling of that will be handled by the finance committee. So these all are the committees and their responsibilities when a sports event, or in this instance particularly a tournament, takes place. Now all these principles applies to various other fields, and it applies to various any kind of event that you have. If you have any kind of fest, if you have any kind of concerts, all these things apply there also. But in this instance, we are talking about the sports tournament. Now, talking about tournament, let's move on to our next topic, that is tournament. What exactly is tournament? What do you mean by tournament? You saw a lot of tournament, you have experienced a lot of tournament, you have seen this on live TV, you have experienced that on the live situation, maybe you have in person might have attended many tournaments, but have you ever wondered what exactly is the meaning of a tournament? Now, you know many teams come there and plays there, a tournament takes place. What exactly is the meaning? Tournament, the meaning of tournament is, a tournament is a competition involving a relatively large number of competitors, all participating in a sport or a game. What is exactly a tournament? A tournament is a competition. What is it? It's a competition. Competition what? Competition is a healthy competition where people compete with each other to outperform each other on a particular skill, right? So a tournament is a competition involving relatively large number of competitors. There are large number of competitors involving in that competition. Now that may be an individual person or a team. It could be a sports team, it could be a team sport, or it could be an individual event, individual sport or any athletic event. Now there are a lot of people are involved in that and all participating in a sport or a game. So all of them will be competing on a particular skill in a form of a sport or a game. That is exactly called as tournament. Okay, so I hope you understood what exactly is tournament. Now let's get into different kind of tournaments. There are different kind of tournaments. Let's look into that. Okay, so what is the first kind? First kind is knockout tournament. Now many of you sports enthusiasts may know about knockout tournament on all these different kind of tournaments, but let me just rebrush all that knowledge that you have and give a recap of what all those things are. First is knockout tournament, then we have league tournament, after that we have round robin tournament, and fourth we have combination tournament. Now your head might have boggled a little bit. All the sports enthusiasts might have thought for a bit, what exactly is he talking about? League tournament and round robin tournament seems to be the same thing. Exactly, you are right. Round robin tournament and league tournament are the same thing. It's just the two different names given to it. But why have I listed among and numbered it as 2 and 3? Because when you study about the different types of tournament, at many places you will see the second name for league tournament, and many places you see the third for at many places. So rather I listed all 4 of them so you understand each one of them by its different characteristics, though all these second and third is the same. So understand guys, league tournament and round robin tournament is the same thing. So in the exam, if you get what is round robin tournament, the answer should be the same as if they ask you what is league tournament. Now before we get into all those things, let's understand each one of them. What exactly is each one of them? The fourth one is combination, the third and second one is what? League tournament, and the first one is knockout tournament. Let's now look into the lockout tournament chart, which is there displayed in the board right now. So as you can see, how many teams are there? Team A 1, Team B 2, Team C 3, Team D 4, Team E 5, Team F 6, Team G 7 and Team H 8. So totally how many teams are there? 8 teams are there. Now we have to conduct a knockout tournament between them. Okay, leave or knockout. We have to conduct a tournament between all these 8 teams. Now you may choose a knockout tournament, you may choose a league tournament, or you may choose a combination tournament. But before we get into the choosing part, you should understand the advantage and disadvantage of each of them, and we should understand what each of them have each of them are, and we should understand the meaning of each of them. Okay, so first one is again knockout tournament. We are studying about knockout tournament. As you can see, team A and B, what we will do in knockout tournament is we will compete, we will create patches. So basically there are 8 teams. We will create a patch of 2. So basically team A and B will compete, then team C and D will compete, then team E and F will compete, then team G and H will compete. As you can see from the arrow marks made here, team A and B are competing and the winner out of them is team A. After that, team C and team D is competing. The winner out of them is again, it should be team again you again get this is team D. After that you have team E and F. In that also again who is the winner? Team F is the winner. Then that there's a little mistake over there, but forget about that. I've corrected it. So moving on forward, out of team G and team H, we have again team G who is the winner. Got it? So if you see at this stage, A, B and C and D, which was earlier written over there, is correct. But to make you understand, I renamed it so you don't get confused. Okay? So team A, B, C and D, which was written over here, is not wrong at this stage. At the second round it is not wrong. But to make you understand, because those teams came from here, I have rewrote all those things there. Okay? So this is team B at this round, the second round, but you should understand that this team B came from this round where it was what? It was team D. Okay? So out of team C and team D won the match and team came here, and out of team A and team B, team A came here, and out of again team E and F became the winner, and out of team G and team H, who became the winner? Team G became the winner. Okay? So now at this stage we have 4 teams. Now we may rename the team again and call it as team A, team B, team C and team D. Okay? But since it may confuse you a little bit, let me keep this name rather and carry forward the knockouts over here. So why exactly it is being called as knockout? You may now get the idea and the logic behind the naming of that. At this round, 4 teams got knocked out and only 4 teams are left further in the tournament. So team A in the next round, round number 2, team A and team D will compete among each other, and team F and team G will compete with each other. In this team A and team D, who won? Team D won. Okay? And in team F and team G, who won? Team F won. So finally, who came into the finals? Who came into the finals? Team D and team F. So we have 2 final match contestants that are team D and team F. Now in the finals, these 2 teams competed. Which team competed? In the finals, team D and team F competed, and finally the winner was team D. Team D is the champion and T team won the tournament. So that is how a knockout tournament takes place, and that is how a knockout tournament carries out. Now let's get into the next one, that is our league tournament. Now what exactly is league tournament? Now league tournament is like in the knockout you saw. What did you saw in knockout? What did you see in the knockout? In the knockout you saw that each team was knocking the other team in the patch out, and if 8 teams were there in the second round, 4 will be there. Then again in the third round 2 will be remaining. Like that it just cuts into half, and that's how knockout tournament takes place. But that's not how league tournament takes place. When it comes to league tournament, every team competes with the other team. That means if you have team A, B, C and D, that means if you have 4 teams, if you have total 4 teams, what will happen? Each team, team A will compete first with team B, then team A will compete with team C, then team A will compete again with team D, then the same team B also will compete with team A, then C and D. So exactly in that pattern it will go. So every team will compete with every other team. Now you may say that is more fair option, right? People should always conduct a league tournament. Now what is the advantage and disadvantages of that? What is the advantage and disadvantages of that? If the expenditure or the budget for a tournament is less, it is always good to conduct knockout tournament. And if the time also is short, it's always good to conduct knockout tournament, because the number of teams decreases over the period of time and the competition gets ended by the period of time, and the number of matches to be conducted also is less. But when it comes to league tournament, since every team is competing with every other team, the number of matches will be increasing, and though the expenditure of the event also will be increasing. So depending on the budget of the tournament, depending on the expense for the tournament, one person or the tournament manager or the director can decide which type of tournament they can go for. Okay? Now moving forward to the next, we have again combination tournament. Now before we get into combination tournament, I will tell you something about league tournament. Okay, so league tournament has 2 different types. We have cyclic method and we have staircase method. We will see how to prepare that chart in a different session. In a different session, particularly we study about how to create a knockout chart, how to create a cyclic chart, how to create a staircase method chart in a separate session. But in this session, we'll study the basic ideas or the concept or the bird's eye view of this whole topic. Okay, so moving on to next type, that is our combination. Now what is combination? Combination means a combining of two different types, right? So basically combination is what? Combination is the combination of knockout plus, again, what is the second tournament that we studied? It is league tournament. What is it? Combination tournament is the combination of knockout and league tournament. So how is that possible? Suppose we have team 1, team 2, team 3 and team 4 and team 5 and team 6, right? Okay, so basically we have 6 teams in there. Let's take the same number of teams. Okay, we have team 7 and team 8. So what will happen first? First, let's do the knockout. Okay, in the first round, let's do the knockout. So basically team number 1 and team number 2 will compete. Then team number 3 and team number 4 will compete. Then team number 5 and team number 6 will compete. After that, team number 7 and team number 8 will compete. Out of 1 and 2, who is the winner? Team number 2 is the winner. Out of 3 and 4, let's suppose or let's guess that team number 4 is the winner. And out of 5 and 6, let's guess team number 5 is the winner. And in 7 and 8, let's guess that team number 7 is the winner. So out of all the winners, if we make a list again, who all came out? First, we have second team. Then we have team number 4. Then we have team number 5, as you can see. Then we have team number 7. These are the guys who came out at the second round. Now, in the knockout chart, you again studied, we could always carry out the knockout tournament further and make these two guys compete with each other, then make these two guys compete with each other and find out the finalists and then conduct the match further. But rather in the case of combination tournament, what exactly will happen? In the case of combination tournament, what exactly will happen is we will do a league tournament. Okay, so we half of the tournament, half of the rounds we conducted. First round we conducted in knockout. The second round we will conduct in league tournament. That means this second team will compete with fourth, and after that this second team will compete with fifth. The second team after that then will compete with seventh number of team. Then in the next series of match, team number 4 will compete with team number 2. Team number 4 will compete with team number 5. Team number 4 will compete with 7, and the rest of the 5 and 7 team also will follow the same pattern of all these 4 teams. I hope you understood these two or combination of that. So how combination works? You have two different kind of tournaments. You have knockout tournament, you have league tournament. So if you combine both tournaments, now there is no sequence. You don't have to start off with a knockout tournament and end off with a league tournament. You can also start off the tournament with a league tournament and end with a knockout tournament. It's your choice. If you're conducting the tournament, it's your choice how you want to conduct the tournament. But this is how it goes. This is how combination tournament goes. So I hope you understood different kind of tournaments. You understood about, again, what all tournaments we studied. We studied about knockout tournament. After that we studied about a league tournament. Then finally we studied about combination tournament. I hope you understood everything. This is me, Rohit, once again signing out. I will see you in the next time, in the next session, where we will study further about this chapter, where we will study about further basic contents about this chapter, and finally we will also study in this chapter about how to draw different fixtures. This is me, Rohit, once again signing out. See you until next time. Goodbye.